Can you hear me all right? Yeah. Okay. So my name is Heather Ferguson. I'm the founder and executive director of the Lymphedema Advocacy Group, and my connection to lymphedema is through my son Dylan, who was born with primary lymphedema. He's 7 now and doing great. But when he was a baby and first prescribed his compression garments, I was outraged that our insurance company wasn't going to pay for them. And unlike everybody else who said somebody should do something about this, I decided I better do something about this, otherwise my son was going to inherit this problem. So that's been my mission. The first thing I did was to work to get a state mandate passed. I don't know why that is yellow. It wasn't when I made it at home, but in my state of North Carolina, and to date we have 3 states with laws on the books that require private insurers to cover compression supplies in their state, and 3 more states who have had legislation introduced, and Louisiana recently unanimously passed their bill through the state Senate. So they are well on their way probably to being our 4th state. Hopefully this year. But unfortunately, as you know, when patients reach Medicare age, they would still lose their coverage. So even if we could have mandates in all 50 states, this doesn't fix the whole problem. So Dr. Stewart had asked earlier about their reasoning that there was not enough evidence to necessarily support compression garment coverage. But we have found in talking with Congress and CMS that we can sidestep that. There's many things that they cover that don't necessarily have huge amounts of data and studies behind them. And what the answer came back to us was that they can't cover them. Not that they don't want to cover them, but that they can't cover them because of the absence of a benefit category that they can fit into. And that was the answer that was given to a lot of patient advocates for many years, but that didn't necessarily satisfy Congress that we told them that's what CMS was saying. So our current bill sponsor actually submitted a question in writing to the HHS Secretary Sebelius asking why garments were not being covered, and she was therefore had to respond in writing, because we wanted a written record of this, that they cannot cover them without a change in statute because they don't fit into a benefit category. And only Congress has the authority to rewrite the statutes and the definitions of the benefit categories. That's why we have to have legislation to fix the problem. We can't just try to get a policy change through CMS. So what the Lymphedema Treatment Act will do is add compression supplies to the DME category, even though they don't meet the typical longevity requirements. Congress has the authority to override that and just kind of add things in as line items. They've added other things to the DME category that also don't meet the longevity requirements or other requirements. So that's where compression supplies will go with passage of the bill. So to bring you up to date, the bill was introduced into the current Congress on January 15th of this year, and these 4 gentlemen who introduced our bill are what I call our dream team, because they represent a Democrat and a Republican from each of the 2 health subcommittees that our bill has been referred to. So this is the strongest possible leadership team we can have introducing our bill. It took us a year to get to this point. The prior sponsor was my congressman, who was wonderful, but unfortunately didn't get reelected. But he was a sole Democrat sponsoring the bill in the past. And when we found he wasn't reelected, we immediately started working to build an even stronger and better team to introduce our bill, and that is these 4 gentlemen right here. So our co-sponsor count as of this morning, we just got 1 new co-sponsor today, is 34, and I'll talk to you in a moment about how you can help us get more co-sponsors. We have numerous endorsements for the bill, just to name a few: American Cancer Society, Oncology Nursing Society, numerous other cancer organizations, all the lymphedema organizations, of course. And the most recent and one of the most exciting endorsements we've received is from the American Academy of the American Academy of Physical Medicine and Rehabilitation, AAPM&R. And they are the first physicians group to endorse the bill. So this is a milestone for us. We're seeking Senate sponsors to introduce a companion bill in the Senate. We've had interest from a few offices, but haven't yet been able to compile that ideal team like we have in the House, so we're still working on that. And we've just started talking to our House sponsors about introducing another piece of legislation to designate March as the official Lymphedema Awareness Month. Because even though we celebrate that as our awareness month in the lymphedema community, there's not actually official recognition of that. There's no federal recognition of it the way there is for many other diseases. And we feel that having that would put weight behind our cause and help us to raise even more awareness. And that goes hand in hand with passing the bill. So if we can work on both at the same time, why not? So Now I want to encourage you to all get involved. This is a grassroots movement. We're an all-volunteer group, and especially the people in this room are positioned to really make a difference because you represent, in most cases, not only just yourselves, but your patients, your customers, many other people. So the single most important thing that each person can do is get their member of Congress to co-sponsor the bill. And the first step in doing that is to write them through our website. We have a submission form. It's very quick and easy. There's a template letter. It matches you to your member of Congress when you enter your address. It's extremely easy to use. And when you send that letter, you'll be subscribed to our newsletter unless you choose to opt out, but I hope you wouldn't because that will just keep you up to date on our progress, and that's my way of letting you all know if there's a particular way you can help at any given time. We also would really like your help spreading the word. So the information cards that you got in your bags, we provide these free of charge. There's an order form on our website, and we're happy to supply you with as many as you can distribute in your area. So therapists, if you can, order some to hand out to your patients, manufacturers, we have something else that we're happy to provide with. We have these smaller cards which are easier to fit in your packaging with your garments or whatever the device is that you're sending. They're also less costly for us to produce, which is important because we have a very small budget. So we're also happy to supply these to you if you have a product, or if this is just better to distribute to your patients, therapists as well. We're also happy to supply you with the small cards. Also on our website, there's flyers you can download and print. We have a tell a friend form. And of course, we have Twitter and Facebook, more ways that you can help spread the word. We're collecting lymphedema stories, not just from patients, but from therapists, family members, anyone whose life has been touched by lymphedema, and sharing those with Congress. We have advocacy teams started in 42 states. So if you're interested in working with other people in your area to spread awareness and help us get more co-sponsors, I hope you'll join your state team. Obviously, we'd love your financial support. I will quickly thank and mention our industry partners who we would have no website, no information cards, no nothing without their support. They are Medi, Solaris, Jovipac, Juzo, BSN Jopes, Lymphedivas, Ferromed, Sigvaris, ImpediMed, and Lohman and Rauscher. So my thanks to you guys. And last but not least, a very fun way you can support the bill this year is our Lymphedema Lobby Days are September 7th through 9th. Those are the days immediately following the National Lymphedema Network's conference, which we planned it that way on purpose because they're going to be in DC this year as well. So we'd love it if you could stay on for an extra day or two and meet with your members of Congress. This is a picture of our group from our last trip. You'll see some familiar faces in there. And we already have more people registered to go this year than went on our last trip. So you do not need any experience. In fact, what we thought was going to be our weakness has turned out to be our greatest asset, that when we go in and talk to members of Congress, it's such a nice change from being visited by a paid lobbyist, and they are always very appreciative that someone who is so affected personally by an issue and feels so passionately about it would come to DC and talk to them. So you would be surprised what a warm welcome you'll get, and I think you would really enjoy it if you can come and join us. So that's it in a nutshell, and I'm sorry, it does not look, this is not at all how it looked like when I laid it out at home, so I don't know what happened when I emailed them and they got embedded into this presentation, but everything's a little bit off. But whatever time we have questions, I'll take your questions, and feel free to call or email me if I can provide you with any other information later on. Thank you.